Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's In the Rye Podcast, episode 80. And let me tell you about some tour dates before we talk to Gian Hernandez, my guest. Let's see. This Saturday, Albuquerque Bosque Brewing in Nob Hill, October 19th, Saturday. Next week, October 21 through the 26th, Monday through Saturday, headlining the Comedy Cave in Calgary, Alberta. That's in Canada. So if you know anybody in Calgary or in that area, please send them to a show. Then I come back home October 31st, Halloween night. I'll be headlining the Inn of the Mountain Gods in Mescalero, New Mexico. And then next month, November 22nd and 23rd, I'll be at Looney's in Colorado Springs with Nick Hoff. And all the tickets, if you like tickets, go to funnyfletcher.com. Click on the schedule there, or you can go to intherryepodcast.com. Got my tour dates on there as well with ticket links. I also have a special coming out on Open Bar Comedy next Wednesday, October 23rd. So check that out or put it on in the background. You don't have to watch it. Just give me some views. I haven't recorded one of these in a while. Big surprise. Done some fun shows. A couple of weeks ago, I did a show in Alamogordo, New Mexico's event called Monster Palooza, which was a lot of fun. Me and Keith Breckenridge drove down there, got to open for some bands. A couple hundred people, 300, 400, I don't know. It's pretty cool. Had a couple food trucks out there. Sweet venue. Pretty good show. Last night I did a show at the Block in Rio Rancho, which was cool. It's a nice little outdoor venue there. A lot of food places and bars and all that. Pretty cool. Yeah, okay. Also, hey, my buddies Bowling for Soup coming to Albuquerque October 27, Sunday nights at the El Rey Theater. Jarrett, the singer, does the intro for my podcast. I talked about him. You know, I've had him on the podcast. Go see Bowling for Soup. They put on a good show. 20-year anniversary of A Hangover You Don't Deserve. They're playing the whole album plus some of the other hits afterwards. I got to see the show in Texas. It's awesome. It sucks. I'm actually probably going to miss their set here in Albuquerque because I'm flying home from Calgary. And I don't get home till like 10 o'clock at night. So, but you should go see them. I'm still going to go to the venue even after I get home. See if they're still there. I don't know. I'm tired. Woke up early for this. I don't normally do that. So anyways, enjoy the conversation with me and Gian Hernandez. His second time on the show. Love this dude. He's awesome. He's a hard worker, very funny. I think you're going to enjoy him. Go catch him. He's opening for Steve Byrne at Quesada's October 18th and 19th.
His name is Kurt, a really funny guy, and this is his podcast, In the Rye. It's the In the Rye Podcast. Kurt Fletcher.
All right, Gian Hernandez. What's going on, dude?
Hello. I'm loving the Iowa Hawkeyes colors.
Yes, I try to brand myself with all Iowa Hawkeye stuff. So,
Dude, Spencer Lee's the man.
dude, he is the man. It was a bummer he couldn't get the gold medal, but man,
He will next time.
Quite a bit without any ACLs and stuff.
For
But
real.
he looked good, man. Did you watch a lot of the Olympic wrestling?
Oh yeah, loved it. It's kind of like the way I feel for Olympic wrestling is the same way I feel about FIFA, like football, like soccer. Because like I don't watch it 4 years, but then like when it does come on, I'm like really into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Like with wrestling, I still keep in touch with it, read the news about it, but I don't really like sit down and watch the matches just because I feel like there's so many things to do in a day. But other
Yeah,
than that, it's like when it's the Olympics, I'm like, okay, I got to sit down for this.
for sure. I get that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still kind of like, I don't know all the rules of freestyle and stuff like that. So I got to refresh myself every 4 years, kind of.
Yeah.
Because I remember one match where might have even been the gold medal match where the dude got a point for something stupid. I
Yeah.
don't remember now, but yeah, I I watch a lot of college wrestling though, like folk style.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I even have a podcast dedicated to that with my buddy. So
That's awesome.
yeah, we actually we're gonna do one tomorrow, like the first one of the season. So like kind of like a season preview type of deal. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Cool.
Heck yeah! Did you wrestle in high school or anything like that?
No, wrestling wasn't really a big thing in Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so I just did a lot of my wrestling knowledge is from MMA and then jiu-jitsu.
gotcha. That's cool, man. How long have you been doing the MMA and jiu-jitsu stuff?
I mean, since I started doing MMA like around 2013 and then I switched over full-time jiu-jitsu in 2015.
Okay.
But I've always kind of been grappling since like 2008, just learning at like garages and
Yeah.
try to get what I could get.
So did you start doing that so you can deal with comedy hecklers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There is this one time though. This was like maybe like a couple months ago. I was hosting this show in Santa Fe, and I feel so confident with hecklers because I feel like it adds to this like to the set. I feel like
Yeah.
it's more fun to be able to like think on the fly and improvise.
It is, yeah.
So I got heckled by this drunk lady, and when I was gonna like answer back at her with a comeback, she just whips her tit out and like breastfeed her like 9-year-old son drunkenly.
Jesus.
And I just didn't know what to do. I was like,
Yeah, that's not in the
anyways,
comedy
here's your next
handbook.
comic. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I've never dealt with a heckle like that.
Yeah, dude. I froze and I was like, anyway, here's Tony P.
Let Tony P deal with it. Yeah. How funny. That's kind of funny because, like, a lot of newer comics, are afraid of hecklers. Like, I know I was for sure at first, but that's cool that you look at it that way. I definitely do now too. Like, I mean, I would prefer not to be heckled, but if it does happen, I can usually handle it pretty well.
Yeah, I kind of like lately. I mean, ever since I got back at it, I look at doing stand-up comedy is doing like just cracking jokes with a bunch of friends around,
Yeah.
and then if someone like talks to me or like has like who heckles, then I can joke back at them like it's whatever. I don't really care for it. But now if it's ruining my set, I'm like, okay, dude, stop.
Yeah, that's when I start getting annoyed by it. I was working with a guy one time, Vince Morris, and this lady would not shut up, and he destroyed her for 25 minutes. It was one of the best things I've ever seen in my comedy career. And like even the club owner, like we were just standing in the back watching. We're like, this is fucking amazing. But when he got off stage, he was so fucking pissed.
I don't blame him.
He didn't get to do his set at all, He because he spent 25 minutes of his headline set like just destroying this lady. And it was awesome to us.
Yeah, for sure. But it sucks for the audience that paid to see that set,
Yeah, the audience actually really liked it too because she was so annoying and they all hated her. So
at least
it was pretty awesome. But he apologized to everyone for not doing his set and stuff like that. But I think people really enjoyed watching him do that. So
oh, for sure, I can imagine.
Yeah. What's funny about hecklers? It's usually always a drunk woman.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because it's like, dude, there's this one time in Belen, we were performing at Fat Sats Bar and Grill, I think it's called, and it was me and this comedian who was a former MMA fighter named Brian Sullivan from Colorado.
Colorado.
He's living in New York now. And what's funny was that, I picked him up from Albuquerque to drive to Berlin while I was driving from Santa Fe. And we didn't even talk about comedy that whole time. We were just talking about MMA, martial arts, whatever. So then we get to the venue. I opened, and it was fun. It was a great time. And then Jamar Hall performed. And then at the end, Brian Sullivan performed. He was the headliner. And there was someone heckling him. And he would be like telling people, shut the fuck up, like joking around. The crowd loves it. Haha. And then he tells a lady, hey, you shut the fuck up. And I guess the husband got offended and tried to like rush into the stage to go fight Brian, and security stopped him. And then Brian's like, Jesus Christ, dude, you don't know what you got yourself into, because like I have cauliflower ear. And then he's like, Gian has cauliflower ear, and we're the mighty midgets, dude. We're ankle biters. And I was like, that guy would have been so fucked.
Oh yeah, for sure. Brian's a sturdy fella.
Yeah.
He actually hosted my comedy special that's being released next week. He was the
shit.
host. Yeah.
Where did you film that special?
What's that?
Where did you film that special at?
I filmed it at Looney's in Colorado Springs.
Oh, that's sick, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, back in February. Yeah, it's like a 30-minute set. Bunch of jokes I don't want to do anymore, so I'm just going to retire them.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's kind of funny because I hadn't told a few of them in a while, so it's kind of we did 2 recordings, and like the first one was kind of sloppy, and the second one went way better. So,
is that how it works when it comes to specials? Do they usually film it like once or twice, or do you think it's just like a one and done?
I don't know. I think it's different for everybody, probably, but
Okay.
I feel like it's probably a couple of them. Like I went to one of Louis C.K.'s tapings once in Phoenix, and he did 4 shows that weekend and then just picked the best one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
I don't know if that's a regular thing, like if they do like 2 on a night and then pick the best one, or I don't know. I know Richard Pryor, when he did Live on the Sunset Strip, he did like a practice type of one like the night before. And that actually did not go well at all.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And then the next night at the actual recording, is one of the best fucking specials of all time. So
that's awesome. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Fat Sats is kind of a wild spot.
Oh yeah.
I called the lady a bitch. I was performing there a couple weeks ago. I can't remember why. I'll have to pull up a video or something like that. Because she laughed at something, and I called her a bitch.
Oh yeah, because you were there with Breckenridge and Carlos Medina, right?
Yeah, and then Benny Martinez ended up hosting, and Michael Jordan came and did a set, so that was cool.
Hell yeah, MJ.
Yeah, it was nice to see him. Have you met him, Michael Jordan?
No, I still think it's the basketball player.
Oh, it's definitely not the basketball player. I would love to see this guy try to play basketball, though. It would be pretty funny.
I just can imagine the audience getting hyped to like, oh my god, Michael Jordan's gonna do comedy.
Yeah. That's why we didn't put him on the flyer.
Yeah.
What the
fuck?
Like
I was expecting Michael Jordan.
Yeah. That would be pretty funny.
No,
put him on the flyer. Yeah, it was a good show, man. It was packed. We did it on a Thursday night, and but it was like, it was full. It was a full room, and I guess it's not really a room; it was outside. But yeah,
that's
I hope
awesome.
to do that room again. That was fun. Do you have a favorite venue you like to perform at?
Well, it's funny because Fat Sats became one of my favorites, especially now, like in that side of New Mexico.
Yeah.
Fat Sats is pretty rowdy, and I kind of like how rowdy it is. And I don't usually like outdoor venues. I hate outdoor venues. I always feel like I'm performing at a flea market.
Yeah.
But I have to say, My favorite venue right now, and I guess one of them is right now is like Turtle Mountain Brewing. I love that room.
Yeah.
It's such a sick room.
Hmm.
And then in Santa Fe, it's hard to choose, but I have to say between Social Kitchen and Bar or Knuckles, just
Okay.
because I like a small, intimate room where
Yeah.
like there are no distractions, no noises, and it just
Hmm.
has that comedy club feel.
Yeah.
So I have to say that, and I guess I have to lean more towards Social because it was the place that I first headlined at. So now it's like more personal.
Okay. Cool. How'd your first headline set go?
It went great.
Awesome.
It was such a cool experience because it was packed. There were a few people that even drove from Albuquerque to Santa Fe to watch. Even Rusty was there, and he
Sweet.
wasn't even on the show, but he just wanted to watch it.
That's cool.
And it felt so. I was so nervous because I
Yeah.
was just like, what if I forget everything, the
Hmm.
order of things, and I was just kind of in a game mindset
Hmm.
that I was just focused. So when I got up there, it just kind of felt like a celebration that I came back at it, and I
Yeah.
was telling some old jokes, some new jokes, and at the end I was talking about my friend that passed away, and I made it into like a good just a 30 minutes. It was
Awesome.
such a great experience, and having my wife there and close friends. I do feel a lot more confident doing 30 minutes for sure. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I can handle whatever comes my way at this point.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I rarely get nervous for shows anymore unless I'm headlining.
Really?
Yeah, it's I don't know what it is. It's like I could do 30 minutes no problem, but like, doing a headline set like when I headline a club, it's like 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm always
Jeez.
nervous that I'm going to forget shit and cuz I could do 30 like so easy. But then it's like you got to add in another 15. And
Yeah,
it's like trying to figure out where to put everything,
that
stuff
sounds
like that.
hard, dude.
Yeah. And headlining's like way different at a club too, because you have to deal with a lot more stuff. Like people are drunker, um, and then a lot of times they do the check drop during your set, so there's a few minutes when they're not paying attention, and so it's really hard to like get like a really good, flow going sometimes. But I don't know, it's fun. It's a fun learning experience and stuff like that.
I feel like 5 minutes is harder than 30 minutes.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like, as you progress in your career, like yeah, I used to love doing 5 minute sets. And now it's like, man, what do I do? You
Yeah,
know?
like how can I put
That's
all
so
my
much.
best stuff in just 5 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes, it takes a crowd a little bit to adjust to your style, depending on who you are and stuff like that. So, sometimes 5 minutes you can't really, I don't know, you get the crowd on your side right away, stuff like that.
Yeah. And like at least with like 30 minutes, you have like time to let the jokes digest a little. You can slow
Yeah.
down a bit. You can get
Yeah.
a sip of your drink and like do some crowd work here and there if you wanted
Mhm.
to. But 10 minutes,
Mhm.
I feel like that's your commercial. You know what I mean? That's your
Yeah.
teaser. So
Yeah.
you have to like put out your best stuff really quickly
Uh-huh.
so they can be like really into you. And then you're like, okay, now here's your headliner.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah, it's funny to think back though too, like when you're first starting out, you're like, 10 minutes, holy shit. Can't do 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was for me too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My first set I ever did, I was supposed to do 5 at the comedy club. I think I did 3 because I was so nervous and I talked so fast,
Yeah.
And I was like, that's good. That's all I got. But it went well, so
That's good.
so I guess that was good, yeah. I
That's
didn't like
awesome.
eat shit and then get off early.
Yeah. Dude, there's this one time I bombed so bad, and this was in Santa Rosa, and I always
Oh
talk about it,
goodness.
but it was one of the worst nights of my comedy career for sure.
Yeah.
And it was me, Tyler Lovely, Trip Stelnicki, and Carlos Medina, and Joshua Fournier.
Hmm.
So I was just like, okay, this is a stacked lineup. I really need to give like my best. And Carlos Medina let me like open for like 7 minutes. I barely did 4. And I was just like, I am done. This is terrible. Like, I was trying to put up my best stuff, and no one was laughing. I legit saw like one guy in the crowd who looked at the guy next to him and just went at one of my jokes, just nodded. And I was like, well, I got that at least. And then, you know, the rest of the comics, they bomb except for Josh Fournier that night. And we were all just kind of like, wow, this guy is just, he has it.
Yeah.
And, you know, he can make anyone laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Where Tripp is one of the funniest people I know, and so is Tyler. And it's like, you know, everyone just has their like certain genres, I feel like.
I think Tripp is way too smart for a Santa Rosa crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, that's how I feel with my stuff lately too. So it's kind of like, nobody gives a fuck if your joke is clever there. You know?
Yeah.
Where in Santa Fe, they're like, hi, I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that was so terrible. And I remember one guy went up to me and he's like, dude, you're funny as fuck, bro. And I was like, why didn't you laugh? I didn't hear anyone laugh.
Mind your face next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate those shows when you can see their or you can hear their little comments and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time doing a show at this casino, and I was pretty young still, and I had to open and do like 30 minutes, and it was always so rough to get to that 30 minutes at this casino. And the first time I ever performed there, I'm just eating shit so bad, and this old lady just goes, "You're not funny." And I'm like, I know, I'm trying though.
You're like, well, fuck you too, pal.
I wanted to fucking get off stage and beat the hell out of her, but I don't know. I just kind of like shit on myself after that, and I got a couple laughs, so it helped a little bit.
That's good. That's funny, dude. I always, you know, back then I would like, when I bomb, I would acknowledge that I bombed on stage, and now I'm just kind of like, I was listening to this podcast, and it was Chris Stefano and Mark Birbiglia. They were talking about like bombing, and Chris Stefano was like, he was killing it in the local New York scene. And then, you know, some producers went up to him and said, hey, like, we're very interested in having you on the Late Show or the Tonight Show to do a set. We just need to watch you a little bit more. And so he would just constantly, you know, perform and still kill it, constantly kill it. And then, but they didn't say when he would be able to perform or whatever, until one time he bombed pretty bad in front of like a Ukrainian crowd in New York. And he and
hold on, you cut out for a second.
Okay.
You did what?
Oh, so did you get to the point where I said that he was bombing?
Crowd?
Oh yeah, the Ukrainian crowd. He was just bombing in front of them, one joke after another, just bombing. But he didn't acknowledge it at all that he was bombing. He just kept going. And so the producers after the show went up to him because he thought he was never going to get the gig. And they were like, hey, we want you on the Tonight Show tomorrow. And he was like, why? I just bombed. And it's because he bombed professionally. That he didn't acknowledge that he bombed. And that's what they were waiting for.
Oh, wow.
I know, crazy, right?
So, they're like, this guy better fucking bomb soon.
Yeah. I need to go home to my wife. I hate staying out here at 2 a.m. in New York.
Man. I should have been on the Tonight Show then, because I've bombed time.
Right?
I'm just going to send him a tape of me bombing a bunch. Here's me bombing 7 times in a row.
Yeah. Here's 30 minutes of pure bombing. This is me in Santa Rosa.
Yeah. Man, I've never performed in Santa Rosa, and I have no desire to do so.
No, don't. Don't.
I always love driving through there because everybody has the same accent, and it's a little different than like a typical New Mexican accent. I don't know if you noticed that there, but if you listen to the radio there, it's really funny because all their commercials, you can tell like they all have the same accent.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the funny part, dude. Oh man, New Mexico, it's very unique for sure.
Dude, we got to talk about your gigs Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, my Casadas Comedy Cantina debut.
Yeah, you pumped?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. When I got the news, I was very nervous and like I had to get like the jitters out. But because I
Yeah.
felt into the emotion early on, now I'm like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, this is like your big first hosting spot there.
Yeah.
Luckily you've hosted other gigs before, so that's because I remember my first time hosting at a comedy club. I had never really hosted before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we didn't have like a ton of open mics. We had
Okay.
one a month at the comedy club, and I would host that every once in a while, but it was a little different than hosting, a professional show. So when I first got that booking, I went into the club and watched a couple shows to see how the hosts were doing it and stuff like that. But I still fucked up the dude's name, like the feature act's name. I think I got it right one time, and he told me on that because we did Wednesday through Sunday, so we did 7 shows together.
Jesus.
And Sunday night, he was like, he's like, "Hey man, you're doing a good job hosting, but I just want to let you know you've only got my name right one time." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yep." But I still remember his intro was something like he performed at the Lenny Bruce Comedy Festival, and his name was Lonnie Bruin. So the names are like very similar. So I
Yeah.
guess I just kept fucking it up all week.
He performed at the Lenny Bruin Comedy Festival.
Yeah.
Everyone, Lenny Bruce.
Lonnie Bruce, ladies and gentlemen. Lonnie Bruce. With every way possible to screw it up. I'm sure I did.
They're like, that's the wrong heroin addict.
Yeah. But he wasn't a dick about it, which was nice. He was just kind of letting me know. So that was cool. So yeah, Steve Byrne is headlining, which is cool.
Yeah.
Pretty
It was
solid dude.
yeah, it's funny because I remember watching Sullivan and Son in Puerto Rico, and I was just
really?
yeah, I saw the show. Like I watched the show.
Yeah.
So when I got the news that I was opening for him, I was like, Steve Byrne. Like, what does that sound like? Why does that sound familiar? And then I like Google searched and I was like, holy shit, Sullivan and Son.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I was
feel
pretty
like he's
hyped.
such an underrated comic too.
Yeah, he is. And I mean, he's been doing it for 2 decades pretty much. And he's recording a special, and I think in a couple weeks.
No shit. Cool, man.
Yeah.
So you get to see him working out some of the stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And
that's badass.
I'm excited to like if he is willing to pick his brain on things at the green room if he's not too focused. But it's one of those things that I'm like, cool, this is a highlight of my career. Like this is like the next step. And
for sure.
So I'm excited to, dude, it was funny because I was going through a little bit of a rut lately. I was kind of like, what am I doing? Which everyone goes through it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I was just like, I just kind of didn't feel that motivated for a little bit, for like a month. And then when I got that, message, I was like, oh shit, okay, time to get back to work. Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I bet Steve would be cool enough to let you talk to him about stuff too. Most guys I've worked with have been super cool about stuff like that. It's very rare that you find like some asshole that will just kind of blow you off. But I would definitely, I would probably wait till Saturday until you know him a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes guys like because travel day can be really hard. A lot of people will travel in the day of the show, and they're tired, and sometimes you could think that they're kind of like pissed off or something at you or something like that. But it's usually just a long travel day, and they just want to get the shows over with so they can rest, and then usually the next day is a lot better, in my experience anyway.
That's good to know.
Because I had a club owner one time who was like, I was sitting there, and he's like, yeah, I don't think that other comic likes me much. What are you talking about? He's like, he doesn't really talk to me a lot. I was like, well, he just drove 7 hours also. He's probably fucking exhausted. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't think of that.
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited to kind of take what I will learn this weekend into like future shows and even producing my own shows over here in Santa Fe.
For sure. Make sure you talk to I forget the guy's name now. I can look through my emails, but make sure you talk to him about getting your set videos of your set. Excuse me, because they film all the sets.
Okay.
Yeah, and
cool.
Yeah, just hit him up and ask him to get your sets. Like, it's really nice, looks sharp. Hopefully they fix the audio. Sometimes the audio is kind of rough, but
do you have to pay for it or
no?
Oh, okay. Because I know like some comedy clubs, you would have to pay like $20 in order to get your like film, like Comedy Works.
Yeah, I've done that a few times to Comedy Works. They got that camera built into the ceiling and stuff, and got sweet audio and all that.
Cool. I've always wanted to perform there.
Dude, it's so awesome.
I bet.
Dude, I used to I used to go there all the time when I lived in Denver, and I got a host there on the New Talent Night. The New Talent Night there is so awesome. It's like on a Tuesday, and they pack that fucking thing, dude. It's crazy. But they've got so many good comics there. Like, even the open micers are solid, but then they always have like three or four professional comics on the show, and then they have like someone like pretty well known headline. Like Josh Blue will pop in and do a little 10-minute headline spot, or Ben Roy or something like that. So
I love Ben Roy.
Damn good show, dude. Ben Roy's so goddamn good.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so underrated.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I still remember the first time I saw him at the Comedy Works, because I went to see, my favorite comedian was Troy Baxley.
Oh,
and
wow.
So I had just moved to town like a month prior to this. And then, so I saw Troy was headlining Comedy Works, and I happened to be in town. It was like a Sunday night. And so he was headlining, and Ben Roy, I think, did like 20 and fucking annihilated.
Dude.
And then TJ Miller was there. He was just in town hanging out because he's from Denver. And he did like a 10-minute spot. And I'd never heard of him either. Like, I'd seen him in a movie or something. But, dude, he came out and crushed. And then Baxley went on and crushed. It was like, that was one of the best comedy shows I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
It was awesome. Yeah. I can't even remember who opened, but I'm sure it was a crusher.
It's funny because, like, do you feel like New Mexico comedy is slowly getting into that wave now? Because I feel like it's growing crazy.
Dude, yeah. There's so many good comics here. It's insane. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of comics. A lot of shows, a lot of open mics, a lot of showcases. You got 2 clubs now, soon to have 3. Dude, they, like, compared to when I started, like, it's insane. Like, when I started, we had there were 3 local comics that were headliners. They were like older guys that have been doing it for a long time. And then there was just a handful of open micers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was, there were no open mics. So they would have to do, once a month at the comedy club. And there weren't very many local hosts hosting the shows. So they were bringing in comics from Phoenix and Denver and stuff to host.
Wow.
And
that's crazy.
So we I don't know how long that went on, man. It was so I started in 2001. I started hosting in 2003. And there were only a handful of us that were hosting regularly. And then I think by the 2006 or 7, we started getting a little bit bigger. There started to be some open mics around town. Not a ton, but it was enough where, you could work on some stuff so you can get better for the comedy club open mic,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just kind of weird at the comedy club one because it's like you're only doing 5 months or 5 minutes a month, so you got to decide: are you going to work on your stuff that you know is good, like keep working on that, or work on new stuff, or you know what I mean? So it was really hard to
Damn.
really develop your acts. But I was lucky enough where I was doing like the club owner liked me right away, so I was doing guest spots um, pretty regularly at the professional show. Like my second show was a professional show, my third show was a professional show. So that was kind of nice, doing 5 minutes on these professional shows, and I'd get pointers from the club owner, and then I'd get some pointers from the other comedians and stuff too. So
That's awesome.
yeah, eating shit in front of professional comedians.
That's always fun.
Yeah. But it was a good learning experience for sure. Like doing well with the jokes I started with, and then eating shit with them the following week. Like it was fucking with me a little bit. It's like, well, they were funny last week. What the fuck's going on now?
Yeah, right. That's the game of it, dude. And there's still sometimes that I'm like, why is it working now and not last week?
Yeah, that's so funny. Sometimes it's just like the wording of it, or the way you say it, or just
the timing, or if it's the crowd too. Like it's weird, dude. And it's crazy. Like this weekend will mark 50 shows that I performed in the year that I got back in December 20th.
Sweet.
Yeah, so it's like there's so many gigs happening. There's so many like reps to put in. Mm-hmm. And like that's not even talking about open mics. Like there's so many opportunities to constantly work on your craft and get back on stage now, which is so weird. I never thought I would have like 3 gigs in one night in New Mexico.
Yeah. So that is cool, man. You can get on stage almost every night, I think, in Albuquerque.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, maybe not Tuesday anymore. They just the Slice Parlor's closing down, which is sad.
Well, you can go up to Santa Fe that night and try out Cakes.
Where at?
Yep. Cakes Cafe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So it's a really good mic. I do love like the community there. And now there's like 6 to 7 shows a month in Santa Fe only.
Dude, that's insane, man.
Yeah.
I used to hate performing in Santa Fe.
Really?
Yeah. I couldn't figure out the crowd. It took a long time. My first road gig though ever was in Santa Fe at the Cowgirl Hall of Fame.
That's funny.
Yeah. It was when was that? 2003. And it was my first time ever driving to Santa Fe.
What? Aren't you from Albuquerque?
I had never even driven to Santa Fe. I had no desire to go there,
Yeah, I get it.
Got booked a show, and then I-25 was actually closed that day. Some dude killed himself on I-25 that day, so they closed it down. So I had to take like a different route to get there.
Jeez.
And it was like way before cell phone, you had a map on your cell phone and stuff. So I was like using my fucking Rand McNally, like, where am I going?
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah. Santa Fe crowds were always kind of like uptight and weird, like especially like for my style of comedy. So I always hated doing shows there for the longest time, and then I don't know when I started liking it, but I don't know. I don't know. I did a show it was like this guy has like a mobile art gallery.
Oh.
Like this truck. And he built like a little comedy club in the back of his truck. He built like a stage. So he pulled his truck into like the rail yard area. And so I performed in his truck. And then there were just like people sitting out in chairs just outside this little brewery there. And
if someone was just listening in on this little like snippet of the podcast, so I was performing in his truck and everyone was watching.
Yeah, you know what? It sounds funny, but it was actually a really good show.
That's awesome.
I can't remember who else did the show. There's a guy from Santa Fe at the time who was really funny. I don't know if he moved or whatever or doesn't do comedy anymore. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was just kind of weird because like, you know, the crowd was kind of there was a crowd of people like sitting in the seats, but then there are people like kind of walking in and out and stuff, you know, 'cause there's a lot of foot traffic in that area. And then, you know, once in a while there's like a kid there. So yeah, kind of got to watch it, you know. But that was probably my first like fun Santa Fe show that I ever did.
That's
You know?
awesome.
Yeah. I remember I did a show one time and I walked half the crowd on the first joke. Like I was headlining and it wasn't going well anyway. Like the show's just I don't know who these people were in the crowd. Like they were like super uptight people. And then I just opened with a joke that I'd written that day, like about Santa Fe, you know, and
Yeah.
didn't go very well.
It's funny, man, because it's like for me, like Santa Fe is my favorite crowd right now. Like I
Is it?
love the crowds there. They're like it's like comedy. It's like they're more like laid back when they know it's a comedy show and they're like
Yeah.
laughing a lot. They understand that it's just jokes, which is
Mhm.
great. And they like clever humor.
Yeah.
They love clever humor. Unless
Mhm.
it's like a all fierce comedy show, Carlos Medina show. It's almost similar to like a Santa Rosa show where you have to kind of like, you know, you have to have like dumb down your jokes a little bit and make it more Latino, and they'll be like, "I love this guy."
Yeah, that is a fun challenge about Santa Fe. Like I've definitely liked it a lot more. I really like God, what's that one venue? I can't think of the name now.
It wasn't the Kava Bar, is it?
No, I didn't like that one. No, it was all right. How was it play? It has like a cool backstage area, and you enter the stage from backstage.
The Jean
that big-
Cocteau?
No, it was like a brewery. I guess I didn't really narrow it down much.
Tumble Root.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I like the elevated stage, like being that much above the crowd. That's pretty cool.
Never performed there. I wanted
really?
to though. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was fun, man. I did a couple sets there and had a good time. But yeah, Jean Cocteau's really cool too. That's a really nice theater. And I like the revisions they did to it and stuff.
I know we performed for the first time when they had a green room.
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a huge crowd, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Excuse me.
It was a great time. I thought it was still pretty cool, and I think it was just not promoted as much, but
Yeah.
it still was a fun time, and I really that was my first green room experience, and it was cool doing that with you and Keith because
Oh, cool.
the first time I performed at a show in Albuquerque was actually with you and Keith.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
yeah.
The Red Gorilla.
Red Gorilla, yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's funny because even my first corporate gig was with you and Keith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you guys are like the stepdads I never wanted in comedy.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Yeah. I did a set with Keith last night. We did our it was the first show at the Block in Rio Rancho.
Oh, how was that?
Dude, it was fun, man. It kind of sucked because the crowd's like kind of far away. And it was outside, so you wouldn't like it. And it was windy. It was super windy. But it was fun, man. It's hard to hear the laughs though. So I don't know plus I'm deaf in this ear. So I don't know if I did well. I feel like I did, but I don't know. I'll go back and listen to the audio and see if I can hear laughter. It was fun though. It was a good crowd, a good sized crowd, you know, for the first one, and awesome lineup, you know.
Yeah.
And not all the restaurants are open yet over there, and there's going to be a bar that's going to be open, but you know, there's quite a few little restaurants that are going to be open, and I think there's like a jewelry shop and
Wow.
There's like an upstairs bar and then another place where you can get some drinks and stuff. So I think it's gonna be really cool when it's all ready to rock.
Yeah, I'm gonna be over there on October 29th to perform.
Are you? Okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
I might have to pop in. I'll be in town, so
Yeah, please sit pretty close.
yeah. Well, they don't even have the chairs that close.
I
feel like
saw,
they
dude.
should.
It was it's like a football field away from the
Yeah,
stage.
yeah. It was kind of it was weird. It was like kind of spread out quite a bit, which is fine, I guess. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't really like performing outdoors all that much either. But I don't know, kind of take what you can get.
It's a rep. That's how I
Yeah.
kind of had to look at it. Is like it's
Yeah.
a rep.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I felt like the sound was okay. I feel like my microphone kept cutting out, but I don't know. I don't know if that was just me not hearing. I don't know.
It's probably the wind.
It might have been the wind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Jake Otero. We had to hold him down. Strapped onto the stage.
Dude, it's funny. Do you know a comic in Santa Fe named Taylor Cheek?
Uh-huh.
Well, he's also a very small comic.
Uh-huh.
And he is like, dude, you, me, and Jake Otero should do a show together, and we should call it The Trip to Mordor. And I was like, absolutely not.
Dude. That would be pretty funny, I think.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, hell, if you pay me, I'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. As long as Keith and Kurt are there in the green room.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Hell yeah. How much time are you doing at Quesada's? You're hosting, right?
I'm hosting, doing 10 minutes, and then presenting the
Sweet.
featured act and the headliner if there is a featured act. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if there will be. Because I know.
Watch it be you.
What's that?
Watch it be you.
Oh no, I got the gig this weekend. That would be cool though.
It would be cool.
Me and Keith.
Yeah.
I don't think Keith's performed there since opening week. He was there opening week and hasn't been back yet.
Who knows? It'd probably be him. Watch it be him.
That would be funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Steve's gonna. He might want to do a full hour. Since he's working on his new special. I don't know if he's gonna do like a full hour special or whatever. But I'm curious if he's doing 45 or an hour or 40. Actually, yeah, mostly they usually just have the headliner do 40 there.
Okay.
So yeah, Quesada's it's kind of different than a normal comedy club. Since it's in a casino, they have shorter times. So they do 10, 20, and 40 instead of like 15, 30, and 45.
Gotcha.
So the show's a little bit shorter.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Like when I performed with Willie Barcena, he did an hour every night. So it was, everyone else was just basically doing 10,
Yeah. So was it always 3 comics or is it usually like 1 comic and a headliner? Because I know when I was there, I saw A. Marie, then Brian Sullivan, and then it was Annie Letterman headlining.
Yeah, it's usually 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just saw Annie Letterman in Terrifier 3.
Oh, really? She's in Terrifier 3?
She is.
Oh, shit. How is that movie? Was it good?
Dude, it's so good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite movie of the year so far.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know if you like the Terrifier movies, but yeah, I went to a double feature the other day. They were playing Terrifier 2 and 3.
Oh, wow.
That was fucking badass.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny because I like horror films. My wife does too, but she doesn't really like gore.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's all Terrifier is, really.
Yeah, there's a lot of gore.
Yeah. So, but I did like Late Night with the Devil. Have you seen that film?
I haven't seen that one, huh?
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Is it? I'm gonna write that down. So I've been watching a lot of horror movies this month.
Yeah, it's so good. I saw it on Amazon Prime. I think I rented it, if I'm not mistaken. But it's on the app called Shudder as well. But it's such a great film. It's worth the $6 that you're going to pay on Amazon.
So the devil...
Late Night with the Devil.
He gets on Late Night because he bombed in front of some Ukrainians. Is that what it's about?
Yeah, that's all it's about. Yeah.
It's about him preparing for his set on late night.
Yeah. Yeah. After he bombed in Santa Rosa.
Yeah. I feel like the devil would do great in Santa Rosa.
Right? Fucker.
Hell yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's cool. Annie was in Terrifier 3. She actually went to college in Santa Fe. Did you know that? You probably
Yeah.
knew that.
And it's funny because I went to her show and I went with one of her old college friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so we were talking about Santa Fe, and the apartments that she used to live in Santa Fe is where I'm living at right now.
Well, shit. Wow.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
crazy. Yeah. So we were talking about Santa Fe, and it was a really cool conversation, kind of picking her brain about like comedy and stuff.
Hell yeah.
But she was just like, yeah, I had to leave Santa Fe because I was drinking way too much. And I was like, yep, I feel that. I feel that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's doing great, man. She's kicking ass.
Yeah.
I saw her on Harlan Williams' podcast not too long ago, a couple months probably.
Yeah, she's killing it, man.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see people that actually lived here to go over there and, do big things. But
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
it doesn't. But I
That's
feel
cool.
like now we're getting into that age where I think being here is just you're gonna make it big being here now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
It's just gonna take time.
Yep.
But I do think New Mexico is gonna get to where Colorado's at in
Yeah.
the next 5 years. I feel
That'd be
like.
great. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm super excited for Hyenas to open. Man, it's gonna be cool having all this comedy here, man. It's there are gonna be some weekends where it's like, man, I want to go to so many shows.
I know. It's already getting to that point, dude.
Yeah.
I remember in Albuquerque there was just 6 shows alone happening and it was all getting filled. And now
Mhm.
Santa Fe is getting to that point where it's like multiple comedy shows in one night.
Awesome.
And I'm excited to be a part of it. And I
Yeah.
do want to be a part of Santa Fe's growth in comedy.
Mhm.
And I would love to see a comedy club open in Santa Fe one day because like I think it's gonna be great for New Mexico in general.
Dude, that'd be cool. That'd be
Mhm.
really cool. I'm curious where what a good spot would be for that.
It has to be in the plaza, dude.
Yeah.
People can walk from the hotels to over there, or maybe even at a hotel.
Oh yeah. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
There are a decent amount of comedy clubs, like smaller clubs that are in hotels and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that Carlos Medina started doing the Tsuke casino comedy
yeah.
club. Yeah. And that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see where he goes with that too, and where the Jean Cocteau is going to go to as well, because that's becoming pretty much a comedy club as well.
Yeah.
Just once a month. But I would like to see more shows there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely getting that way, it seems like. That's cool.
Yeah.
Who are some of your comedy influences?
It's funny because like my favorite comedian of all time is Bill Burr.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like my influences is like Mike Birbiglia, Fred Armisen. Who else? John Mulaney's one of my big ones.
Oh, yeah.
Doug Stanhope. Those are kind of like my biggest influences in my comedy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nobody ever says Fred Armisen.
I love Fred Armisen, dude.
Dude, Fred Armisen is awesome, man. Portlandia is one of the funniest shows.
Yeah, dude. I love him and Bill Hader together. They're like such a great duo. And I wish they could do like a sketch special together.
Yeah.
As just those two, because they're so great together. And
yeah.
The reason why I say Fred Armisen is because I feel like I do a lot of impressions in my act, and he's such a great impressionist.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he's also like Latin American, and he's like, he actually gets that Latino audience too with his show on HBO. I think it's called Los Spookies. So it's like and it's a Mexican comedy show on HBO.
Oh wow!
And he's doing a lot for like the Latino market, and I feel like that's something that I would love to get into as well. So
that's really cool.
I would love to do a Spanish only speaking comedy show up here.
That'd be badass.
Yeah, and I haven't written anything in Spanish yet, but I would love to practice that muscle.
Yeah.
And especially on the south side of Santa Fe, there's so many Spanish speakers.
Mm-hmm.
So
That'd be really cool, man. I've heard the comedy scene like in Mexico is pretty good. Like it's they never really had one, and now it's kind of like booming a little bit.
yeah, and they're pretty easy to get in touch with too to get booked over there. It's in
That's cool.
Mexico City, so
Yeah, I have a friend that booked some stuff down there.
we gotta go.
Have you seen Documentary Now?
I love Documentary Now, dude.
Yeah. Do you know Stephen Michael Quesada's in an episode?
No way.
Yeah.
No
I think
way.
he plays. God, who does he play? Well, yeah, he was telling me about it. I can't remember if he was telling me about it on his podcast or he was just telling me about it in person. But yeah, they thought he spoke Spanish, but he doesn't. And it was funny because like Fred Armisen does. But he's playing like I can't remember. It was like Pancho Villa or someone.
Dude, that's funny.
It's one of the first episodes, I think.
Dude, I'm gonna if once I meet Stephen Michael Quesada, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, you're Michael Quesada from Documentary Now. That's crazy. Love that show.
Yeah, that was fun. I did that to Lou Ferrigno.
Really?
I met Lou Ferrigno. Yeah, I knew I was gonna meet him because I was at this Comic Con working for some people, and one of the guys that was next to us was like really good friends with him. He's like, "You want to meet him?" I was like, "Yeah, can I meet him tomorrow?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, he just looked at me weird. I was like, "I just want to do something funny."
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay." I was like, "Does he have a good sense of humor?" He's like, "Yeah, he's got a great sense of humor." He's like, "All right, cool." So I looked at his IMDb page to find like a really obscure like role that he did. And he was on that show Night Court, like the old one.
Yeah.
He played a character called the Klondike Butcher. So I found a picture of him from Night Court and I printed it out and put it in my wallet. And I like folded it up a bunch of times so it looked like it'd been in my wallet for years, you know? And so the next day I meet him, I look at him and I was like, pointing at him, I was like, I know you. And he's like, kind of like shaking his head, like, yeah. I was like, you were the Klondike Butcher on Night Court. And I pulled out the picture.
How was his reaction on that?
He laughed.
Okay, that's good.
And he's like, you didn't really see that. I was like, nah, I didn't.
Dude, that's so funny. There's so I met one of my professional wrestling heroes. His name is Paul London.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he was like a WWE tag team champion, cruiserweight champion, did a lot of flips and shit in the indie circuit, Ring of Honor champion. Like he's very successful. He's like only people that are fans of his are just huge like pro wrestling nerds. Is not really a mainstream like name.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first met him, I was just like, "Oh my god, you're Paul London." He's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I saw you in the ASAP Ferg music video. You were awesome there." Love hip hop.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Was he cool?
Yeah, we're really good friends now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
He's thinking about doing comedy because now he lives in LA.
Yeah.
And his mother lives in El Dorado.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he comes for vacation, so I get to hang out with him. It's really funny because it's like I used to watch that dude on TV all the time.
Yeah.
And now it's like we're friends, and sometimes I feel like he's just catfishing me. That it's not really Paul London, but it's him.
Pretending.
Yeah, it's like sure, I'm Paul London, and it's Keanu Reeves the whole time.
He's that good of an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. The first celebrity I ever saw in my life was a wrestler.
Really?
It was Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Dude, that's sick.
Dude, it was, I was young. 6 or 7, maybe younger than that. And I was with my family and we're walking into this store and he was walking out and me and my brother were just like, no fucking way.
Dude, he's so huge too.
Yeah.
Dude, he was awesome to watch.
Fucking...
Yeah, that goatee.
Oh man.
Yeah. Dude,
so
yeah.
I think he's dead now.
Yeah, he died. He passed away.
Yeah.
His daughter is wrestling and she's been wrestling for almost 2 decades too.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, that whole family is like wrestling royalty in Calgary.
Yeah. Dude, I'm going to Calgary next week.
I saw that in the bottom.
Dude, I'm going to talk about that.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
it's been so long since I've watched wrestling, but I love watching like old wrestling documentaries and stuff like that. And
Dude, I'm still obsessed with it.
dude, WrestleMania 3 was still the fucking greatest, one of the greatest sporting events I've ever watched in my life.
Dude, it's huge. It was when Hulk Hogan did that body slam on Andre the Giant. It's very
Yeah.
historical at this point.
Yeah. Did you watch? You probably saw the Vince McMahon thing on Netflix, right?
I got kind of bored after the second episode. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, because I already know about it.
Yeah.
But for someone who never knew anything about pro wrestling or was just kind of like a casual fan, it's a pretty well-made documentary.
Yeah. I didn't know about some of the stuff like with Hogan and Andre the Giant. Like I didn't know that Hulk Hogan didn't know who was going to win the match.
Yeah, yeah. Dude,
You know?
Vince McMahon was such a great businessman.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
like, he took it to another level. He made pro wrestling so mainstream for where it is today. Like,
Mhm.
he's a piece of shit, but like a lot of great businessmen are.
Oh, dude, yeah, yeah. A lot of people who are successful are fucking assholes.
Yeah, dude.
And
And that's what made him
that
successful.
I tried being an asshole for a couple days, and it's hard to do, you know.
Dude,
Really
for
takes a
real.
lot out of you.
It's like me trying to be quiet and mysterious, but I just don't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about you. I'm just kidding. Well, thanks for coming on again, man. We're almost at the hour mark already. That went by super fast.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for having me.
Cool having me on again. I hopefully we didn't talk about stuff we talked about on the first time you're on, but I didn't go back to listen, so I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I hate watching my own podcast, so that's why I don't really record many of them and edit them and stuff. I just realized I spelled loonies wrong on this fucking thing.
I was like, I didn't know there was so many E's.
Well, it's funny because my keyboard is broken. So like the E gets stuck sometimes.
Oh shit.
Well, it's funny it was funny because the D wasn't working. And I told my sister and I was like, hey, I gotta tell you something. She's like, what? I was like, look at this morning and my D wasn't working. She's like, what? I was like, yeah, on my keyboard.
What does that even mean?
Yes, I think I've got it up here somewhere. The D.
Your D?
Look at, where do I put it? Right there.
Oh, there's the D. There we go.
Yeah. My keyboard's broken. Well, have fun with Steve Byrne, dude. If you want to go see Gian Hernandez at Quesada's this week, it's Friday and Saturday, 2 shows. Is it 7 and 9:30?
Yes, it's 7 and 9:30, October 18th and 19th.
That's right.
At Bernalillo Quesada's Comedy Cantina.
Yep.
Then I got.
.com.
Yep, and then I have a few shows lined up after that. I got Cakes Cafe at Santa Fe on the 24th, and then I'm performing at Iconic Red on the 25th, also in Santa Fe, and then for Rio Rancho, I'll be there on October 29th.
Yes, at the block.
At the block, yep. And then where else? And then on November 6th, I have a show As Above, So Below in Santa Fe as well. So hope to see you guys there, and thank you for having me, Kurt.
Sweet. Yeah, absolutely, man. Go follow Jean on his social medias. Just look up his name. You'll find him.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well,
good luck, man. Have fun with Steve Byrne. Tell him I said hi, even though I've never met him. Like, hey, Kurt Fletcher says hi.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Kurt Fletcher.
Yeah, he's gonna
shit or not. Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. All right.
You too. Thank you, man.
All right. See you, buddy.